Alright guys, how's it going? This is Sean and I got an exciting knife review for you guys. This is the ZT-0450. And in case you've been living under a rock for the past year, this knife has been taking the knife world by storm. It offers you a titanium frame lock flipper for a great price. And it also comes with a great blade steel, great materials. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the size comparison. You'll notice that this is in a very nice sweet spot for everyday carry. Not too big, not too small. There compared to a Spyderco Delica and a 940 Benchmade, you can see that we definitely hit that sweet spot. One of the top reasons I feel this is a great selling knife is also just the way it looks. Dmitry Sinkovich is a designer and he's been able to hit a lot of very clean lines on this knife. It's very attractive looking. I love the little swedge on there. Almost kind of reminds me of a Puko in a way. But very attractive lines on this knife. Little bits of flare. It's so clean, but then it's got the little red standoffs on there. So it's very attractive blade. The reason why this is also one of the best on the market is nothing matches the flipping action on this knife, on a production knife in this price range. These are coming in at $160 and just nothing can touch the action. The action is incredibly smooth, it's fast, fluid, and crisp. You can just hear how that flies out. The lockup on there is excellent, and this thing just flips like a dream. It just feels like it's on glass. It's like a watch for sure. The reason why that flipping action is so good is not only the fact that it's on the ZT KVT bearing system, but also we've got a really nice flipper design. Often neglected by a lot of makers. Flipper is very nice and it's got robust jimping on there, which really helps you get your finger on there and fly it out there. One of the biggest reasons why the flipping action is so good on this blade is the fact that they went very, very boldly with an oversized dedent. What's a dedent? Well, you probably don't notice on a lot of your knives, but a dedent is a small ball bearing that's inside the lock itself. And what it does is it mates with a small dimple that's on your blade. And it basically keeps your blade from opening in your pocket, so you have that very, very smooth opening action. What that allows you to do when they oversize that is it allows you to build up pressure on the flipper to really launch that thing out with some speed. And on that KVT, it just seems to open almost like it's assisted by itself. Now, one of the problems that ZT has had with that design is the fact that if you try to open it like the Kershaw stuff with the speed assist that you're probably used to, where you can do a push button style, where you just simply push it in and the knife flies out because it's on that assisted spring action. On this knife, if you try to do the same thing, it's not going to open and you're going to be like, what the heck? What's going on is if you take a look on the other side, your middle finger is actually holding that dedent in place and locking the blade, preventing it from opening. So if you do more of a light switch flicking action, it instinctively moves your middle finger down to the pocket clip and allows you to really fly the knife out there. You can also keep your middle finger on there, but just be aware of not to put pressure with your middle finger as you try to deploy the knife. So it's not going to deploy like your Speed Safe. Speed Safe, you can definitely do a push button opening, but this is not spring assisted. And I definitely like manual action knives better than the assisted opening knives. So this is great. Great, great knife. Love it. Now let's get more in depth with this knife. The steel on this is going to be your S35VN, which is a great steel. It's actually one of the best all-around steels on the market. Okay, so what that means is it's going to have the highest levels of corrosion resistance, toughness, wear resistance, and ease of sharpening, all relative to each other. Now a steel like this S90V is going to have much more wear resistance, but it's going to be more difficult to sharpen. And if we look closely on there, that's right, that's rust. It's a stainless knife, but with the high amounts of carbon in here, there's not really enough of that chromium left to help with the passivation of rust. So with this knife, we're getting a more balanced blade steel. And that's really why Chris Reeve designed it to take over the S30V, is Chris Reeve was really intending his Sebenza to be a knife to be used. And kind of like if you're going to buy a knife, the one knife you're going to buy, and he wants it to be accessible to all people in all different environments without rusting, without difficulties in sharpening. Of course, the problem with the whole difficulty sharpening thing is that you kind of cater to people that maybe use improper techniques or poor abrasives. I mean, if you take S90V and you swipe it on an Arkansas stone until it gets sharp, you're going to be there for a very long time, and you're going to pitch a fit about how it's impossible to sharpen. When if you had better abrasives and sharpening technique, it's really not that much of an issue. It's just time to sharpen is what you notice. It just takes a little bit longer. But you should never be letting your knives go dull in the first place, so the point is almost just moot. But this is very responsive to stropping and honing, which is makes it an excellent steel, takes an incredibly keen edge. Same composition as S30V, just maybe turn down the volume on the vanadium. You lose 1% vanadium. They add some niobium, which is also a carbide former, but even finer and harder than the vanadium, and it forms all throughout the steel matrix, not just the grain boundary. So it's very interesting stuff. It's not really in that many knives, but maybe in the future we'll see more knives with it like S110V. The carbon is also turned down a bit on this steel as well. So we're getting more of that corrosion resistance, ease of sharpening, and toughness compared to S30V, which has had some complaints in recent years. With Chris Reeve, this steel got a bad rap because when Chris Reeve came out with S35VN, he kind of brought it down to a lower hardness. He didn't bring it up near 60. It was in the 58, 57 range. He has since corrected that, I believe. I believe now his Semendas are at 59, 60 in S35VN. So very cool stuff. Some more things I want to talk about this blade, of course, is the fact that the pocket clip is not a deep carry pocket clip, and this much of it is showing inside your pocket. Now that's kind of 50-50 for a lot of people. Some people like a deep carry pocket clip. The disadvantage of a deep carry is that you're not able to pull your knife out as fast. The disadvantage of it showing is that people can see that you have a knife. And this pocket clip is fairly long. The ZT logo has worn off, thank God, because I don't want to be a billboard for ZT. Cool thing, though, about it sticking out of your pocket that much is at the right angle. That's right. People could see that awesome, sexy red standoffs and know that you got a sweet knife in your pocket. Another thing, I love the polished pivots right there. Now you do need 2 Allen keys for that, but I don't mind. I got a Benchmade blue box that comes with 2, the star slots, or Torx bits, that's what they're called. But very, very nice. I love how that just says 0 tolerance on there. Just so low key, everything's just super clean. And on this side we got a bunch of Egyptian on there talking about the serial number and Kai and the patent and the steel. The lock up itself is actually really good. We have a stainless steel insert in the frame lock. Why is that important? Titanium on steel, you can get some lock stick on there, so that takes care of that problem. Also, this is your over travel, so it makes sure that you don't over travel your lock bar, which can destroy the tension. That's why you see on Hinderer knives it has that lock bar stabilizer on there. It's to prevent you from over traveling your spring tension on your frame arm. So that's good. That's pretty cool stuff. I find that when using the knife pretty hard, though, this will get pushed all the way over, which is annoying. You know, cut some wood and stuff, so it's really not meant for hard use. The design of the handle itself, huge hit. Huge hit on that. I mean, look at that. It's so cramped up in there. And it's just because of this hook area right here. I'm losing real estate, which is funny. It's just a damn shame because it's actually the same handle size as the 940. It's just I get more real estate on this, bad real estate on this. So that looks cool, but in actual functionality, it doesn't work for large size hands. If you have small hands, it'll fit you like a glove. Larger hands, you're just out of luck. They really dropped the ball on the grind here because you can see where the light's reflecting right there. The grind doesn't go all the way back here. This choil here is completely pointless because it gets thicker as it gets to here. The handle scale's get in the way when you try to sharpen down to the heel, and it doesn't matter because the heel is thicker anyway, so you have to remove more material. So very annoying. That really pisses me off. Coming from somebody that sharpens, why even have a choil on there if it's not even functional, if it's just for looks? So that's where this knife takes a few hits. The jimping on there, you know, it's not incredibly grippy or whatnot. I'm not a big fan of grippy jimping. Thing is, when you're actually using the knife and as your thumb slides, it'll just tear the flesh off your thumb. Maybe it works better for gloves, but I don't wear gloves either. So good stuff here. This is ZT 0450. Highly recommended. Is it going to stay in my collection? You know, probably not. I find that those features are enough for me not to enjoy the knife as much. And since I love using my knives for whittling on wood and stuff like that, and this is a very stylish knife, it definitely gets people's attention, and when they check out the action, they're like, oh, that's sick. I think there's just other knives that I would rather purchase. So there you have it, guys. ZT 0450. Thanks for watching my channel, and stay tuned for more knife reviews.